Hey everyone, today we're making a custom white oak crown molding for a fireplace mantel. The client wanted a profile that isn't readily available, so we're going to model it in SketchUp and then bring it into VCarve to machine it on the CNC. We'll start by drawing a 6-inch by 3/4 inch rectangle. From there, we'll use construction lines to lay out the basic profile and all the details the client wants. I'll draw a 3/4 inch arch, then divide that arch into multiple sections to create a much smoother curve. Once that's done, we'll connect the lines, set the board thickness to 1.25 inches, draw the back of the crown profile, and delete the triangle. That gives us the profile we're after. Now we'll create the actual stock. Using the rectangle tool, draw a piece that's 7.25 inches wide by 96 inches long, since that's the material we'll be carving from. Then push and pull it to 1.25 inches thick. Next, we'll use construction lines again to locate our 3/4 inch arch. Mark the center of the board, then measure tip to tip of the crown. In this case, it's 6.75 inches. So from center, we'll measure out 3 3/8 inches to each side. That gives us the correct location for the arch. Again, I'll divide the arch into several sections to keep it nice and smooth, then use push-pull to cut it all the way through. At this point, you'll notice a lot of visible edges in the model. To clean that up, go to Soften Smooth Edges, activate the tool, and soften those lines until the profile looks clean. Once that's done, delete the original side profile from the drawing and save the SketchUp file. Now let's move over to VCarve. We'll create a new job using material that's 7.25 inches wide, 96 inches long, and 1.25 inches thick. I'll set my Z0 to the material surface, but use whatever workflow you're comfortable with. Next, import the SketchUp component as a 3D model. Center it on the material and then click Next. For the depth below top, choose relative to model plane and enter 0.75 inches, since that's the depth of our arch. Make sure Discard Data Below is checked and then click Continue. Now we're ready for toolpaths. First, we'll create a 3D roughing toolpath. Set the machining thickness to 1.25 inches. Select the 3/8 end mill. Make sure the machining limit boundary is set to model boundary and calculate the toolpath. If we preview it, you'll see it removes the bulk of the material very quickly. Now we'll create the 3D finishing toolpath. I'll use a 1/2 inch ball nose bit. Keep the machining limit set to model boundary and calculate. Reset the preview, then preview all visible toolpaths. You can see the roughing pass removes most of the waste, while the finishing pass leaves us with the final profile. If you zoom in, you'll probably notice visible machining lines. Those usually transfer to the actual carving, so let's improve that. Go back into 3D Finish tool, edit the tool, and reduce the step over to around 9%. Recalculate the tool path. Reset the preview, and preview everything again. Reducing the step over means the bit moves over a shorter distance on each pass. It increases machining time, but it leaves a much smoother surface and dramatically reduces the amount of sanding afterward. Once everything looks good, close the preview and save the file. One thing to keep in mind, if you're trying to save both toolpaths together, VCarve will give you an error because we are using two different bits. Simply save the roughing toolpath first, then uncheck roughing, check only the 3D finishing toolpath, save that as a separate file, and you're ready to start carving. Here's a picture of our finished white oak crown molding. It took about 15 minutes to sand smooth and is ready to install. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe.